Sadiq Bey and OG Anunoby aren't the only two that have been discussed regarding the New York Knicks. Here we have this report from Bleacher Report. So the New York Knicks have held exploratory conversations to acquire Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt from the Utah Jazz, according to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype. The potential deal would reportedly send Obi Toppin, Evan Fournier, and draft compensation to Utah. First of all, we're trading Obi. Why are we also trading the draft compensation? To me, that doesn't make any sense.
I think it's not for Obi. I think it's to get rid of Fournier's contract that they have to throw that in there. But I would, that's crazy.
That's why we're trading Obi, to get rid of Evan Fournier. We shouldn't be including draft picks on top of that.
I'm with you. You're preaching to the choir. When I first saw that, I'm like, well, wait, did they get that wrong? You mean we're going to get a draft pick and back? No, we have to add a draft pick. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on? First of all, there's no way this could be true. This has to be a lie. For us to give up Obi Toppin, who still has, a year on his contract, was a 8th overall selection for us, and then to try and pair him with Evan Fournier, which was a mistake signing. And then on top of that, we're gonna have to give up some. It doesn't specify, but I don't think it would be second round picks, right? Because that's kind of a waste of time. They would want the unprotected. No.
Well, Utah, absolutely. And also I saw another thing that I think I saw in other places that Ainge wants at least a first round pick, whether it's for Beasley, whether it's for, so that is his barometer that you have to give up a first. It's like, get out of here, man. If we're giving you Obi, get out of here.
Right. You should be happy with Obi and Evan Fournier, and that's it. Just make the money match, and we'd get, Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt. But even in that sense, to me, that's not a deal I would go about. So that's why when I saw additional draft compensation, I said, "Oh, these guys are crazy if they think this is something that we should be doing." There should be no exploratory conversation. That should be a monologue. That should be them telling you that nonsense and then you hanging up the phone. Period.
But I'm old school. After the Donovan, there wouldn't be any exploratory conversation with Utah ever again. It's F you. I won't even deal with you guys, man. So what the hell am I on the horn for you to try to fleece me again? Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, makes no sense for me. I mean, you can understand maybe bringing in Vanderbilt. He can, defend, and Malik Beasley gives you some scoring, potentially off the bench. But I don't think there's really room for a guy like Beasley once you see the guards that we're throwing out there. We got Grimes, we've got Emmanuel Quickly. I think we're set there. It's more guys that can play the 3, somewhat of the 4, especially if we're gonna trade a guy like Obi Toppin. And Vanderbilt can fill that role, but I don't think he's good enough to give away Obi Toppin for, especially if it's just Obi Toppin and a salary dump. I don't think Vanderbilt should be a guy that we should really be targeting and including Obi Toppin in the deal. Once again, if we're trading Obi Toppin, I think it should be someone that comes here and moves the needle. Once again, he was the 8th overall selection. This is a guy that we saw value in at the top of the draft. So to jettison him for a guy like Beasley and Vanderbilt, I think it would definitely be a major mistake.
Yeah, we all full up on 6'5" guys. We don't need any more. And I think he takes, my memory, around 12 shots a game. Where the hell are those shots going to come from? So, I don't know, where this would come from, but this is nothing but bad news.
Yep. I can understand the two guys we discussed before, Sadiq Bey and OG Anunoby.
Totally.
But
that's complementary to our roster. That complements our roster, what we need. This is like, get out of here. As crazy it sounds, Jared Vanderbilt is basically a rebounding guy. We have a guy named Jericho Sims that is a rebounding guy that doesn't shoot threes and other stuff.
Yeah, and Mitch is going to come back eventually. So if you want to try to fill the rebounding void by bringing in a guy like Jared Vanderbilt, he's going to be obsolete once Mitch returns. And I guess he could still find a role because we traded Obi, and he could probably back up a guy like Julius Randle. But still, I don't think it helps us enough. It doesn't give us enough of a punch to that second unit offensively, which I think is what we really should be looking for if we're going to be making a move to bring in somebody to that second unit. Find somebody that can, still defend, but has a little bit more of an offensive, firepower.
I think we should just be patient. We have Obi under contract, I think, for 8 and change next year. Let's see. Randall's been unbelievably durable, but that also means statistically that maybe he's due for an injury or to be out sometime. I wouldn't give away Obi. I'm not, I wouldn't give. To me, it's giving away Obi for those guys, and plus adding a draft pick. That's bad front office, ridiculous.
And even with a coach like Tibbs, this team is still a playoff team. Tibbs is sabotaging us, but we don't need to make any drastic moves just to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And also, I closed the previous poll. Who should the Knicks target at the deadline? Saddiq Bey wins at 81%, and OG Anunoby comes in second with 18%. So let's look at some of these guys' stats. Look what Beasley does for the season. He's averaging 13.5 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game, 1.7 assists per game, averaging 1.1 turnovers per game. He's shooting 39.7% from the field, 35.8% from the three-point line, and 84.1% from the charity stripe. And his defensive rating is 118. You look at Vanderbilt, he's averaging 8.3 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, and 2.7 assists per game, while shooting 5.6% from the field, 33.3% from the three-point line, and a paltry 65.7% from the charity stripe. But his defensive rating is 112.
So what we just said, you're shooting 30. Why do we want to shoot for a guy that shoots, meaning Beasley, 39% from the floor, and that's league average? The three, that's another 6'5" guy. Nah. And Vanderbilt, that's misleading on the 3 points because it's not a lot of attempts. Mm-hmm. But you see that 65, that is very, that's not misleading. He's not a shooter. So he bangs, he gets rebounds, but everything else, you get guys in the draft this year, folks, and stuff like that. That's not somebody that we need.
Yeah. And also, let's look at some of their contracts. You can see Malik Beasley. He has a club option for next season. He's making right around $16 million if you average the 2 years out. You would think in a trade like this, the team would definitely pick up the club option. So at least you have a year and a half of team control. So that's something that you can look forward to. And then Jared Vanderbilt, he has a partially guaranteed deal for next season as well. And if he plays well, you would expect the Knicks to pick that up.
Or if they have this grand plan and you have 4 and 16 is 20 million. So if they trade for him and then they cut both those guys, then they have 20 million for them to go maybe after somebody else.
Go shopping.
But who we opened the show with Tibbs and the way he's treating Cam. Who the hell would want to come over here of their own accord, with everything going on here? But so I don't understand, unless they have a grand plan of either freeing up, but they're not complementary to this roster. So it just makes no sense, us even thinking about doing a trade and also giving up draft compensation. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think they'd probably be used as trade filler, because it might be easier for us to bring in a bigger contract via trade as opposed to freeing up the 20 mil, because we're still over the salary cap somewhat. So even if we go down to 20 mil, we wouldn't be getting 20 mil to actually spend on another player in free agency. So maybe that's another part of their grand plan or their grand scheme. Keep as much of these tradable contracts and still not try to, use or deplete too much of our pick inventory and then try to make a big move there. But to me, this is not the move I would make.
We got to get Brock Aller on. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, facts. And here we have the on-off court stats for the guys that we mentioned today, and also Alex Caruso. So you can see OG Anunoby, Saddiq Bey, and Alex Caruso. Their teams play better with them out there on the court. But you see the guys that we're trying to target and trade Obi Toppin for, and Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt. Their team is much better with them on the bench as opposed to them on the court.
Yeah, so give up Obi, give up a draft choice and everything for two guys that have a proven record that the team's better when they don't play. Yeah, you just don't do that, man.
Not one bit. And also we have the notification on the bottom just to let you guys know what's good and what's bad.
Yeah, so red means the team is better when the player's off the court. So what are we going against guys that just don't have a good record when they're on the court? That's why people go after IQ, because he has the green. He's better when